And before I launch into today's topic, I want to mention the many, many celebrations that are taking place this year as Soroptimists celebrate 100 years of helping women and girls. It's our 100th birthday. Most of us won't see our 100th birthday, so we can celebrate it with Soroptimists and make it look like we're going to make it. And it's really going to be a year of parties, culminating with a grand event the first weekend in October. And thank you so much to those who have already registered. We're offering 2 time zones and several languages, and we've got some exciting plans. So we're asking you to register early, and all the information is available on our website at www.soroptimistinternational.org or on Facebook and multiple other places, including your Federation websites. There's a link on this slide that you can go straight to the registration. And just remember, we are the yellow, black, orange, whatever event and not any other color. And currently we have registrations from at least 62 countries to join us with, we hope there will be many thousands of people on this for this event. So we're well up over 1,000 now, and it's climbing. So it's great. So that's my shameless plug for the 100th anniversary event. And we hope you can join us. And I know some of you have events happening in your own unions and regions, but the timing should work that you can attend both. So we're hoping, I know I've told everybody that's asked me to speak at their event that I'll speak at their event if they come to our event. So see you there. And I wanted to just introduce the topic of FGM, or female genital mutilation. It's something Soroptimists have been advocating against for decades. Many countries in Africa and other parts of the world have had success in bringing awareness of FGM and reducing the violence experienced by so many girls. Today, we want to shine a light on Sierra Leone, where more encouragement and advocacy is needed. And before I introduce our speakers, I want to recognize one of our very own Soroptimists, Dr. Nina Smart, who many of you have heard speak. She is possibly joining us today from Romania. Nina left Sierra Leone to avoid being cut, and has shared her experiences in a book that you can find details for on the SI website, or at least you will tomorrow. The proceeds from Nina's book are going to support this appeal and this project. So anyone who's interested, you'll see I've written something for the cover, as has our International Director of Advocacy has written the foreword. So it's very much a plug for Soroptimist and Sierra Leone. Nina is friends with one of our Soroptimist Six, who is a speaker here today, Rugiatu, and she shared this picture with me, I think when they were in Sierra Leone. So I just wanted to mention Nina because she has a foundation in the United States and has advocated aggressively against FGM in the United States, and at many Soroptimist functions. She's joined us in New York at CSW and spoken, and currently is spending time in Romania in her family home, where she's going to introduce us to a migration project for the President's Appeal. So it's very exciting. And I don't think she's with us. She must have had trouble getting on because she was going to be with us. So on with the show, as they say. I'd like to introduce Maggie O'Kane. Our chance meeting in Vancouver at Women Deliver has resulted in an interesting relationship. She is an ex-Guardian foreign correspondent and now leads Global Media Campaigns movement to help end FGM by 2030. Maggie, did you want to start with your film, or do you want me to introduce it?
Yeah, I could, if you want, Sharon, I could just explain. So basically, yep. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. And we're really delighted. I can't tell you how important the Soroptimist support has been since we met in Vancouver. particularly for Sierra Leone, you've been supporting the Soroptimist Six, who are 6 key activists. But the key thing about Sierra Leone is that unlike most countries, the UNFPA joint program to end FGM doesn't support Sierra Leone. So we have an amazing group of campaigners led by Rugiatu and Luciane, who you'll be hearing from. And a real understanding of the power of the media since the Ebola crisis, when the media was used then to tackle Ebola. So basically, I'm just going to introduce you very quickly to how it works with activism in the media, and then hand over to Rugiatu and Luciane to talk about Sierra Leone. And we've made a special film about what the Soroptimist 2 in Sierra Leone have been doing in terms of really changing and making FGM a subject that people talk about. So let me stand back, let me show you the film, which explains how the whole thing works, and then you hear from the people who really know what to do. And I just want to say one final thing. The reason I see FGM, and we at the Global Media Campaign, as one of the biggest feminist issues of our time. We can't understand how after 3,000 years, a girl is getting cut every 6 seconds. And we believe it's the duty of women worldwide to end it by 2030. And that's why we're so delighted that a movement like the Soroptimists are interested in doing this. So let me show you the film. Let us show you the film, and then let the people who really know what's happening on the ground take it over from there.
Thank you, Maggie.
FGM has plagued our nation. We need to rise above it, and we cannot rise above it if we keep our mouth shut.
We declare FGM as a global pandemic. FGM has to stop.
Hurting people, torturing people, it's not right in Islam.
Female genital mutilation. Innocent girls cut off. So horrible, I didn't want to show it.
The competition of women is not allowed in Islam.
The Bible don't mention about FGM.
Now with the religious leaders talking through media, it's even more powerful.
When people see, they believe. When they hear, they believe.
The funding process is simple, fluid and transparent, from the first grant application for airtime right through to final receipts. Not a penny is wasted.
Our funds go to the grassroots. That's what makes us different.
La confiance que GMC a placée aux gens, c'est inédit. Ils sont motivés, ils ont confiance, donc chapeau.
This is a revolutionary moment. This is a whole new era of women who can use media, women who can set up communities and organise themselves. The Global Media Campaign is about supporting them. They are the ones who are going to end this, not us.
So I just want, when we say supporting them, not us, I mean, I would like to introduce you to 2 women who, of all the 500 people we're working with, are probably some of the most outstanding. And one is Rugiatu Toure, who is famous in Sierra Leone as a feminist, as an activist, as a former government minister, who is leading the charge with activists there. And secondly, Luciane Gande, who is a TV personality who's known throughout the country, who is also leading the media. And the combination of these 2 women and over 60 activists now working, I think provides Sierra Leone with an extraordinary opportunity to end this. So I don't know whether we should meet Rugiatu and Luciane now, or should we watch the introductory film? What do you... about Sierra Leone?
You're the media specialist. What do you think is the most impact?
Well, I think we should say hello, Rugiatu. Luciane, please take over. It's your country. We're just supplying the content and showing what you're doing.
Okay, well, why don't we give them some time first, and then we can always go back to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rugiatu, do you want to speak?
Sierra Leone, we look at FGM as a violation of women and girls' rights, as a gender-based violence, as it extends poverty and steals the future of girls and women, as that it leads to child marriage and teenage pregnancy. It also forces girls out of school, and it's very traumatic. FGM is actually prevalent in Sierra Leone due to the only woman society called Bondo. Bondo is a female secret society introduced for rites of passage for girls to womanhood, which includes the cutting or the removal of female genital mutilation. You know, the subject is still controversial in Sierra Leone for a simple fact that it is being political and it is used as a way to win votes during elections. However, the discussion has returned into mainstream debate. So it is our hope that this time around that the debate is on, it will be compromised to reach to the elimination of FGM and the preservation of the Bondo culture. You know, in trying to fight FGM in Sierra Leone, it is our hope. Hello?
I'm just trying to mute someone named Paula.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, it is our hope that we will be able as activists to achieve our objective, and therefore, what we did is to have a coalition. No one single person can work to end FGM. And FGM can only be able to be addressed and eradicated when local victims take up the lead. And therefore, what we did was to form a coalition we call the Forum Against Harmful Traditional Practices, FAP, which comprises of 17 local organizations. Recently, very recently, the president was interviewed by the BBC reporter Umaru Fofana, and he expresses in one of his answers that if he addressed the issue of FGM by banning it, he will be committing a political suicide. And this is not actually just what the current president is thinking. This is what almost all political leaders in Sierra Leone think, that banning FGM is committing political suicide. So we believe we have to engage them that in the coming 2023 election, no political party or politicians uses FGM as a way to gain confidence and win the votes of women. And therefore, we have started visiting political parties' executives. We have visited at the moment 11 political parties. We are still waiting to make sure we have an appointment from the ruling party so that we can engage them. We want political parties, grassroots actions, so that together we can stop FGM in Sierra Leone. Families, community, government, and therefore religious leaders, the engagement of the media is so very much important. Training people from communities, the religious leaders, the sowers who are the practitioners, parents, girls, all of them, and activists, together with the journalists, have been engaging the media. And the media has actually played quite a good role in disseminating the information in hard-to-go areas. We have been able to cover very vast area of the country, but this is possible because it's been led by local people. People who understand the language, people who understand about the culture, people who understand the very people who practice FGM. And as I say, FGM in Sierra Leone is different from other countries because it is embedded in the Bondo society, the society wherein women meet. This is the place where women can talk and train themselves. We expect women to be in those bushes and train girls into leadership. So our work is to make sure we educate the population, our people, our communities, including our politicians, at local community, in the media, to know that FGM should be abolished and up.
Oops, what happened?
No harm. We want to make sure, as a country, we uphold our tradition. But that which has to deal with the harmful parts of FGM should be abolished. And we are lobbying, advocating, speaking to ask the government to make sure laws are passed. Sierra Leone still remains one of the few countries that has never passed a law on FGM. Sierra Leone is still speaking on an age of consent. But come to look at this way. The harmful side of FGM does not know an age. Whether you are age 1 or you are age 50, the dangers remain the same. In fact, it becomes more dangerous when you are older. So the health complication becomes worse to elderly women. So we say, as a country, we should stop discussing an age of consent and look at eliminating the practice of FGM and promote our Bondo culture. So the work we have been doing with global media campaign in the media is very much helpful. And I want to believe Soroptimist is celebrating its 100th year in existence this year. They must know the challenges people face in making changes. And they also know the impact and the results the media creates in addressing situations, whatever context. It is the media that has helped to bring out issues that were never spoken before. Yes, as activists, we've been making a lot of progress. But the media has also helped in promoting the work that we are doing. We have worked in removing Bondo bushes, removing shrines where women are trained as sewers, to build schools. Because we believe if we really want to empower women, we have to send them to school. We have to educate them. It is through education that we can produce female leadership. It is through education that our women can come forward and be part of decision-making processes. It is because of education that we have Soroptimist members continuing to exist. But what we are doing in Sierra Leone as a country within the Bondo processes, as I say, FGM or Bondo actually leads young girls out of school and they send them into early marriage by promoting teenage pregnancy. So we think it is important as donors and funders to continue to work with local activists and media activists based in the country, because their voices can be heard loud and clear. They understand their people, they understand the culture, they understand what they do. We have been spending funding, big funding in bigger organizations. But what we have achieved with just the little support that we are getting from global media, through support from Soroptimist and other organizations, we have been able to make an impact. Today, the discussion of ending FGM is growing in the country. Girls, men, religious leaders, politicians are speaking. Even though they speak in a different language, I mean from different positions, but all of us are now thinking of how do we fight together to eliminate FGM from our Bondo culture? How do we continue to make our Bondo society powerful without harming women? So the media, and through the support of global media and Soroptimist, have been so effective. And as we speak, we have people on the ground in different districts now making preparations. We have jingles in different languages. So even people who have never been to school will understand the reason why we are campaigning against the practice of FGM and not the Bondo culture. And we are working so hard to make sure that we make the distinction clearly. And then every politician will understand that we are not working to destroy the Bondo culture that they think is committing political suicide, but we are working to protect the human rights of women, protect the health of our women and girls, see that they can be trained back in their Bondo bush, and then they come out as leaders in their communities and take leadership roles at national level, and then help to promote the health sector of the country. But still, Sierra Leone still remains one of the few countries that has never passed a law. And we are open, as we have taken the discussion, to the gender minister, the local government minister, the parliamentarians, and now, before I forget, as a country, we have been able to influence to establish an anti-FGM committee within the House of Parliament. Members of Parliament are now participating in FGM discussion, and we have a committee. We are pushing hard to make sure a national strategy is approved so that all other organizations working on FGM can use that one document and begin to speak with one voice. But as a country, our approach is to protect our Bondo culture and make sure FGM is removed from the Bondo society. The media has helped a lot, and it's still helping. We are training young people to make dramas on television, on the radio, at community where they cannot access the radio. We use our local instruments to communicate.
Rugiatu, can I interrupt you there, and we can show the film, because I think it gives a good visual representation of what you've actually been doing, and then maybe hear from Luciane?
Okay.
Or would you like to introduce the film, Luciane?
The film that is going to be shown is...
Yeah, is Luciane with us, Rugiatu? Are you still there, Luciane?
That's her speaking.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, could you introduce the film about, and just say a couple of words, and then we can show people the film, and then I think people can ask questions about how they can help. But maybe you could introduce yourself. Well, I want to introduce you as one of the most famous feminist activist journalists in Sierra Leone, who's been key to this campaign, but maybe you would introduce the film.
Yeah. Lucy Nganda is the name. Of course, I have been working as a journalist since 2004, and I've been reporting, and even the Sierra Leone Soroptimist, I have been sending reporters to report for them over the years. They could ask the Sierra Leone Soroptimist, they will tell you. I'm a friend of the Soroptimist here in Sierra Leone. And since I met the Global Media Campaign, since they were the Guardian, now the Global Media Campaign, we have been working. I've worked with them. They sent money through UN Women. We established the Campaign Media Academy, and we trained the journalists. We identified journalists whom we saw will be able to take the message. So we trained them, and then another round of training came again. So after we get in these journalists, we grouped them. We had a WhatsApp group for them. We ensure that we keep them posted of every development. And the Global Media Campaign has been helping in a way, funding these groups to go out, to sensitize. We also have not been sitting. I have been making jingles to work together with the activists to see that we work together, we collaborate to end this evil practice in our country. And that so far has been successful. We have been working, myself and Rugia, to our working relationship has been very good over time. And we have been collaborating with them to see that we amplified what they are doing. When she went and a destruction of a Bondo shrine and a village, that one was amplified on television so that people see and know that this thing that these activists are doing is worth doing, because it's not for us only, but for the generations yet unborn, for them not to come back and meet this harmful practice and continue in it. This practice does not only destroy lives, it also destroys, it brings poverty, because it brings backwardness. So we have looked at it and we have agreed that we cannot allow ourselves to continue in this practice. We cannot allow our nation to continue. We cannot allow our generation to continue with this practice. So what do? We work together, we collaborate. We, as the media, I have my media activists. She too has her own group called Forum for Harmful Practices. They have been working very hard, and we have been amplifying their voices. We have been campaigning through the radios. We have been campaigning through television. We have been campaigning through community outreach. The journalists can go to unreached areas where they have radio stations. They go, they discuss, they take activists, they take religious leaders, they take nurses or doctors who could explain the harmful practice so that you see the harm, because for the village people, they don't see any harm in it. It is their tradition, it's accepted. For them, that's the best way to go. But since the emergence of the media campaign, eyes have been opened. Reporting in 2006 against FGM, it was a big noise. And even my editors would challenge me that, no, we cannot allow you. But today, it's a thing of the past. The editors will accept stories against FGM. All the media houses will accept discussions against FGM. So that makes us proud. That makes us know that indeed our efforts have not been in vain. We have been working and we have been seeing results, because we have been able to touch the lives of people. Now it has become a public discourse in Sierra Leone to discuss about FGM. So I think what we need now is to get constant funding so that we could continue with what we have been doing and broaden it to a larger scale, because for now, we have just been getting those little monies and engaging those little engagements. But if we say we want to end FGM by 2030, it's going to be a very big task, and the media is going to be play a very key role in that. And in playing that very key role, meaning we have to put our heads together, we have to put resources together, we have to also put strength together so that we could win the fight. And I believe it is not impossible, it is possible. As long as we have the speed, as long as we have the support, it is possible. The video we are about to watch, it will tell you exactly where we are in Sierra Leone in the fight, in the campaign against FGM. It will tell you exactly, because using the media, we have witnessed situations where the media was used and we saw the outcome. One example I can tell you We fought against a sickness that plagued our country that's called polio. The media was used robustly and we succeeded. Polio was kicked out of Sierra Leone and out of Africa. It's only few months ago we heard about the emergence of polio in Guinea, but then the media was used to kick off polio. Secondly, when Ebola came, there was great denial everywhere. It was politicized. People talk about it as it's a sham, it's a lie, it's not true. Ebola killed a lot of people. But when brilliant heads came together and they decided to use the media, and the media was used robustly to educate the people, Ebola became a thing of the past. The same way when Corona came, people wanted to doubt, but they remembered the experience of Ebola. So the media also was consulted. The media was used robustly, and people started understanding the dynamics of Corona. And now we have been able to control Corona. Corona was not able to destroy our nation because of the media. So I believe this same thing with FGM, the media and the activists working, and then the media collaborating with the activists to complement their efforts. I'm pretty much sure by 2030, FGM would have been a thing of the past. Our culture, our tradition, the Bondo society will be left without the cutting, because the cutting is the problem. And that's what we are campaigning strongly against, that this is harmful, this is terrible. You go to Aberdeen Women's Center, you see women plagued with diseases because of the cutting, because of childbearing. They have problems bearing children. Some of them end up with fistula, and then they are lying down in the hospitals. So we use all of these people to come to the media to talk about the harms, the ills of the practice. So people have started accepting the reality that this is the reality. Because when the doctors are coming, at times they have audiovisual. For the television, they ensure that they let people see and understand exactly what the practice does to women. So I believe robustly, if we can engage the media constantly, and the activists also are doing their work, and we are complementing their efforts, we are reporting effectively, the practice of FGM will be eliminated completely from Sierra Leone. So let's watch the film and see where we are as a nation and what works in our country. The film was developed, and you will see exactly where we are. So that's it, if I can introduce the movie.
Thank you, Lucian.
I am an activist because I was mutilated at the age of 5 years old. I was suffering and bleeding. What I go through, I don't want other girls to go through it. This practice must stop.
For some time, people believe that the white people want to come and dictate to us how we should live. This is our tradition, we cannot leave it. But this FGM issue that has plagued our nation, we need to rise above it, and we cannot rise above it if we keep our mouth shut.
Will you or will you not ban FGM outright?
FGM is a deep cultural practice in this country. I don't think you want me to commit political suicide. But there is already a
So
measure.
what does that mean, sir? You mean you're not going to commit yourself to banning it?
We have a system that is taking care of that very slowly.
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
When the media was used robustly, after a few months, people started accepting that, oh, this is real. And because of that, they started complying with health safety precautions, and then Ebola ended. after that academy, we started seeing some changes because the reporters themselves started doing stories about FGM. They will invite doctors and explain the implications, and they will invite religious leaders who agree that FGM is not part of the religion.
I don't read from Genesis to Revelation. The Bible not mention about bundle business inside the Bible.
He shall not make any cutting. Any cutting. God say you know for cutting money.
People started listening. The majority of the population of Sierra Leone listen to the radio. When they hear, they believe.
The medical, the bondo are the same. Therefore, stop this bondo. It's not good for the pikin.
So the radio is a very powerful tool to use in such campaigns.
Kadi, antalaki ansuna, aya fino tabo nga aya feta motibiri.
Kompaya.
Antakara musopa mabana, kaka yekuder ka unibo.
The major gain that we've got in the campaign against FGM is that now it's a public discourse because the media now accepts those kind of stories. Before, you dare not, but now there is no radio, there is no television that will say, no, we don't want to discuss this FGM issue.
End Female Genital Mutilation.
Cutting, fine for sister and woman them in the society.
FGM hour. We'll talk about FGM.
Airtime here is very, very cheap. Let me tell you, this is fact. As little as the monies were, these journalists are using those monies and they have been able to go through the media and sensitize their localities. So because of that, because of the media campaign, anywhere you go, people can talk now about it.
We go to the communities and engage people there and sensitize people there. A lot of response will come out from the people there.
The Deputy Minister of Education have officially commissioned the first ever modern school.
The people of Matamba village has abandoned their secret society bushes for the erection of school, which they have been without for about 50 years now. How did this came about?
I want to say by the help of the media. When we had the project that had the removal of 2 secret society bushes and then we replaced it with a school, it was seen on social media. And so just 2 weeks after that program, I got an invitation to come to Matiba village.
I'm standing in front of the Sowe shrine and it's about to be destroyed. The population here, they have agreed to concentrate their efforts on educating them.
For far too long, female genital mutilation has been included in the alternative rite of passage for girls.
What we can do as women, as FGM campaigners, we need to let the people know that we are not this way in the culture. And the only way we can do that is to make sure we engage our women, the Sowis, who most of them are illiterate.
Wow. As from today, we have announced the business.
Oh my God. The road is impassable, very, very, very terrible.
Not easy. We have over 60 activists.
This is a global media campaign. We fight against FGM.
The problem is, all of them want to be funded. When you cannot fund them, they just feel discouraged and then they just go. So for now, currently we have about 26 that we are working with, but we trained over 60 of them. The funding is limited, so that's a big problem. But I'm sure if we use the media, we want to there will be a massive awareness and change will come. That's what I believe. So many lives will be saved. So many children will be saved from this demonic practice, because I see it as demonic.
So Sharon, we only have 20 minutes left, I just wanted to say, you know, everybody watches this and thinks, you know, what can we do? And I am going to say it really bluntly, because I know Luciane and Rugiatu won't, that basically you need to buy airtime in Africa. That's the way it works. As an ex-journalist, I didn't really realize it, but we realized that. So, but it is incredibly cheap. So Luciane devised the jingles on TV that ran over Christmas for 2 weeks before primetime news, and it was $600. So, you know, I feel that like FGM has been mystified. It's very difficult to end it. There's lots of big organizations talking about it. There's lots of collaborations. Vancouver's talking about it. Women Deliver is talking about it. We've had enough talking. It's really simple. You just need to support the women on the ground. And I think that's the appeal to the Soroptimists, because for some reason, UNFPA are not supporting Sierra Leone. It's got everything going for it, and we really can do this at 2030. So I suppose I initiated this. I asked Sharon because I just think the fruit is there. We can deliver this, but we need you guys to get together and say, okay, we're going to raise $600 to run a campaign over Christmas. And the commitment from the Global Media Campaign is we will make sure that every penny gets out there every 8 weeks to all of those activists. So that's the practical pitch, and now I'll be quiet, but it's simple. We can do this if we want to, and women across the world can have a responsibility to end this, I feel.
Thank you. And what I liked about Global Media Campaign was the money did go down to the grassroots and make a difference. And you could see the impact of it and how many people it would reach. So of the 5 countries that we're involved in, Sierra Leone is the one that all of a sudden needs help. Not all of a sudden, but they need help. Whereas the other ones are actually making progress on the advocacy. So we've been diverting some of our funding directly to Sierra Leone to bolster the initiatives going on there. And as you can see from this, I think it works. Please put any questions you have in the chat. One thing I wanted to ask was, you keep referring to bondo bushes. Now, I think I have an understanding of what that means from some of the people I've talked to from Africa, because they keep saying, well, if you go, everything happens behind the bush. Can you just explain that a little bit? One of
Luciane or Rugiatu?
I'm wondering if they can't. They might not be able to unmute.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yes, I was interrupted. Please, let me have the question again.
I just always, in all of the articles I see, there's always talk about the bondo bushes and destroying the bondo bushes. And I was just curious. I know that Rugiatu saw the demise of the bondo bushes and replaced them with a school. But for people on the call that might not be familiar with that term, can you describe that a little bit? It's just out in the bush,
The bondo bush is something like a shrine.
Ah, okay.
Yes, it's something like it's a shrine, not something like it is a shrine. It's a shrine where the courting takes place, where the initiation takes place. That is where they initiate girls and women. They don't do it in open places, because they know if they do it in open places, it's not even possible to do such kind of act in an open air. So what they do, they make an enclosure, they make something like a shrine. That is where they go. That is where they do the cutting.
Thank you.
So that's what they call the bondo bush.
Maybe I can just say, originally, bondo is practiced in a bush, the bush itself. Over the years, things changes, and they started constructing houses where they do the initiation. But the worst part of it is currently in certain parts of the country, it's politicians who construct those houses where FGM is performed. And so, one of the work we do is to go right inside the Bondo bush as a member of the Bondo.
Yeah, do you have two devices on? You've got some echo. Do you have two devices going?
Sorry?
You've got a lot of echoing going on in your, so we can't quite hear. Do you have two devices going?
Yeah, I'm alone in the room.
Maggie, do you know what that is?
No.
Is your phone on or anything? Can you switch off everything?
It's raining here.
Maybe we should just go back to Rugiatu in a minute.
Okay.
So maybe she said it's raining heavily. Maybe that's why.
We can't do anything about the rain.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to say is when we were in New York early last year, seems like forever, when we were actually somewhere besides at our desk, and we met with the Sierra Leone mission in New York, and we were all ready to do an event with them at the Commission on the Status of Women. And what they were suggesting, their initiative to deal with FGM was to use the program Hands Off Our Girls to look at FGM but never talk about it. And we thought that was so interesting. And they were going to join us in an event at CSW as speakers, and we were discussing what that would look like and how we could bring the topic up, but we never had the opportunity. So I gather some people are realizing it and not talking about it. Are some of them actually talking about it now? Some of the First Lady or the ambassadors, but just not really loud, but they're accepting that it needs to change.
Luciane?
I'm not speaking.
The mistake that somebody will make is to use a political route or political line to bring it to the campaign. Yes, we need the politicians because what we need is the political will for a ban. That is what we need. But it's not good for us to use them to end this thing, because most of the time what they do, they will just pay lip service, but at the end of the day they want the votes, so they will not want to do anything that will tamper with their votes. So that's the reason why if you want to go political, it's not easy for you to succeed, because most of the time they pay lip service, they just talk some things, they don't mean it. So I will advise that
Let me just say, sorry. We have tried, as I said, and the members of parliament have established an anti-FGM committee in parliament.
What we are and
you know, in trying to eliminate FGM, you need holistic approach. That is, the community, the media, the politicians, and everybody is needed. The only people that can make laws are the politicians. So they are needed. And they are the people supporting initiations to gain votes. So how do we need them? When we have our activities in their communities, in their constituencies, they can come to speak, and we use the media to cover them so that they amplify that for people to see. Now our elected people are saying it. Another thing we can do is to shame them, those who fund initiations. Because elections are approaching, they might want to still continue to use it. So we can use the media to shame them. When we work in community and we find out a politician who is preparing to initiate girls, we bring it to the attention of the media. We amplify this and shame them, call their names. Once we begin to do this, we will not invite them to the media to come. So because it's an holistic approach, we need to involve everyone. As I was reading, I saw somebody say, can we talk about the bondo without blood? Somebody asked.
Yes, they asked that. And the other issue that somebody was asking about was the income of the cutters. We've always been told, or at least many years ago, we're told that it was about income. And I think you've had some initiatives where it's ceremonial for a price so they don't lose their money, but those two comments could be addressed.
So let me come. I have seen like 2 or 3 questions that will be answered that I feel will cover this question. Yes, I want to start the bondo without blood. Amazonian Initiative Movement in 2019, we organized the first alternative rite of passage we call the bloodless rites. And we had 75 women, young women, aged between 19 to 25. These young women, after the Sowers have made a public declaration dropping their knives, we trained them and they took these young girls into the bush, not the houses that they built, back into the bush, because originally bondo is performed in a bush. So we went into the bush. Why do we go into the bush? Because we want women to get involved in planting more trees to fight deforestation. So we spent 3 weeks in the bondo bush, just as it is the normal procedure for girls to go through bondo initiation. But this one is without blood. But it is done by the Sowe themselves. So the person who asked the question about what will the Sowe do, the Sowe will not lose a job. All what they will be doing is to perform a practice without blood, bring in their traditional training, and then we invite women, medical women who have gone through the practice right inside the bondo bush to come and give a talk as to the reason why knives and blades should no longer be used in the bondo bush rather than training them. And we also invited women who have gone through, who are gender activists, training women in leadership. So through the alternative rite of passage, the bloodless rites, women are trained for leadership position within their communities and outside their communities. They are taught on the health hazard of why they should not continue to use the practice. But then again, all the traditional things that they used to do in the bondo bush are done in the bush, not outside, not in the house. The reason why we need to avoid the house is because these houses are built right in the center of the community. And when you build them in the center of the community, they distract the education of the girls. Girls are forcefully taken. So we want to imitate our male counterparts, go back into the bush, far off from the community, from where girls go to school during the holidays, and then train them. We train them in leadership, we train them the dances and everything in the bondo bush without no blood. So we do not lose their jobs. But what we have done as a way of giving them new skills as we speak, we have centers. Those Sowers have never been to school. They train to be seamstress. Now we have them sewing for the others. We have others who now fabricate blocks. We make community people buy from them. So we give them a different status. You know, we don't want these people to lose status, but they should not use cotton to have status. That status is demeaning. So we are trying to change the status by empowering them in a different way, yet upholding our bondo culture with no blood.
Thank you. I'm going to close the call, but leave it open. So I just want to close it off for people who want to leave, but we'll continue this conversation and then ask questions out loud. I know, Nana, you've had your hand up, but we usually just get you to put it in the chat if you don't mind. But I'm just going to say our thank yous and then officially close it, but then keep talking. So don't feel you have to leave. So thank you, Rugiatu. Thank you, Luciane. And thank you, Maggie. Thank you so much. Your work is so inspiring, and anything we can do to support you, we're here. I think we've been sending money since the beginning of our appeal, and there's more to come. And we're believers. So
Yeah.
whatever we can do to help and spread the word, we're so happy to do. So thank you for being on our webinar today. Everyone else, thank you for being with us. And keep sending to the President's Appeal. We've got another 3 or 4 months to go. I think our funding is till October 1st. And have a great day. And Sue, and then we'll just keep on going.